Hello, everybody. It's VR Fear Raccoon time. Da 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 da. Hmm. I need a theme song. And I'm not a musician or a singer, so I'm kind of screwed. Welcome to Spooky Sunday. That wasn't so good either. But how you doing? I am going to share a paranormal experience with you. Was gonna do a scary one, but I think I'm going to save that for next week. I have a shitload of those. Tonight I'm going to share a sad one. Well, it starts out sad and then it comes full circle and ends on a good note. Uh, when I was married to my ex-husband Kenny, I got really close to his sister Lisa. She became my best friend. And when she was 16, she got pregnant and had a daughter named Shelby. And I was I am her godmother, but since then, of course, the family has become estranged. I stay cordial with my ex-husband because we have a daughter together, but the family, they're nice to me if they see me, but it's rare and far between because we live in totally different places, and so I'm getting off subject. Anyway, we were really close, and when she turned 18 and graduated from high school, she had a graduation party at a correctional officers recreation center, and because they got a discount on it, her uncle is a correctional officer. Well, he's probably retired now, but at the time he was a correctional officer and an EMT. Um, that morning, the morning of the party, she came over to my house and she was a nervous wreck. And she asked me if she looked okay, if her hair was okay, if, this, that, and the other thing. And of course, she looked radiant like she always did. She was very meticulous about how she looked. Never was there a hair out of place. She was the cleanest person I've ever met in my life. You could probably eat off of her fingernails. And I told her, you need to relax or you're going to have a heart attack or something. So she was running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And I couldn't get her to relax. And while we were at the party, the important thing here was I was 3 months pregnant with my daughter, Kenna. I had a hard time getting pregnant. It took me like 2 or 3 years to get pregnant. So that's an important part of the story. So we're at the party, and it was a huge party. There were a lot of people there. They know a lot of people, and they invited a lot of my family because at the time our families were close. And I was outside at the time watching her daughter, her 2-year-old daughter, Shelby. There was a playground outside. And I was sitting on one of the picnic tables, and I was looking in the window watching stuff going on inside. And we had just gotten done eating, and they were striking up the DJ for music for dancing. And Lisa loved to dance, so she went to go grab her dad. They were really close. She went to go grab her dad to go out onto the dance floor for the first dance, and suddenly she grabbed her chest and she started to fall down. Well, he helped her go to the floor, like helped her lay down on the floor. And my ex-mother-in-law now, Charlene, she let out like a yell, and her uncle Ronnie, who's the correctional officer, was also an EMT. He came running out and got on the floor and was, over her body. And she died as soon as she hit the floor. Actually, she was dead before she hit the floor. And they started evacuating the recreation hall, and they wouldn't let me in to see her. The ambulance was called right away. It seemed like forever for the ambulance to get there. I kept asking what was going on, and I remember my mom took me back to my house, and my ex-husband Kenny, he stayed behind to go to the hospital with his dad and his mom and ride in the ambulance with Lisa. Apparently they worked on her the entire way to the hospital, but she was already dead. When Kenny came back to the house, he wouldn't talk, and I said, "She's dead, isn't she? She's dead." And he finally said, "She's gone." And I took it really hard, and I just curled up in a ball, and I cried for days. I couldn't eat, and I got sick to my stomach, and I was sick already from the pregnancy. I was really sick for the first few months of pregnancy, and I lost a lot of weight. And it wasn't for lack of trying to eat and stuff. It was just I had really bad morning sickness, and I was in a really bad way, and they were afraid that something was going to happen to the baby. And like I was trying to do this to myself. I wasn't trying to do it. I wanted this child, and I had worked really hard to finally get pregnant. So one day I was laying in bed, and I felt someone sit on the edge of the bed, and I'm like, "Kenny, I really don't want to talk about this. Just go to work, leave me alone, whatever you're doing." And I opened up my eyes and I looked, and it was Lisa sitting on the edge of the bed, and it was just like she was really there. And I said, "Wait a minute, what the hell?" And I said, "What are you doing here? You're dead. I thought you were dead." And she goes, "Well, I am." And I said, "Why did you have to leave me?" And she goes, "Well, I didn't do it on purpose." She said, "It was just something happened and I had to go." And I said, "I lost my best friend." And she said, "Well, you didn't really lose me. It just, things happen." And she was just so happy. And I was like, "How can you be happy when everybody's so sad?" And she goes, "Well, you've got to let it go. Everybody will heal. Everything will be fine." And I said, "How could you leave when you wanted to be here? You were so happy that I was pregnant, and you're not even going to see my baby born and all this stuff." And she said, "I've already met your baby. Do you want to know the sex of your baby?" Because she knew I didn't want to know the sex of the baby. And I was only 3 months pregnant anyway. And I said, "No, I don't want to know." And she goes, "Well, it's a boy." And I went, "Oh, why did you tell me?" And then she goes, "I'm just kidding, it's a girl." Well, I ended up having a girl. And so she was right. But she visited me quite a bit over several months, and she didn't go away until after I had Kenna. So I think she was there to help me through all of that. And while I was in labor for 13 hours before they had to do an emergency C-section, and I could hear her in my ear because I thought for sure Kenna was going to die, because they broke my water, and then she was just stuck in there. And I said, "Is the baby all right? Is the baby all right?" And the doctor was really quiet and stuff, and I was like, "You've got to get her out of there." And I could hear Lisa in my ear saying, "Everything's going to be okay. and then they ended up doing an emergency C-section. Then after that, I didn't miss her as much. I wasn't as sad. After the first time I saw her, I told my mother-in-law about it, and she got mad at me. She said, "Why won't she visit me? Why didn't she visit me? I loved her more than anybody. She was my daughter, blah, blah, blah," like that, and got really angry with me. So I never told her about her other visits. And I guess other people had seen her as well, and she got angry with them too. So I didn't tell her about the other visits, but I don't know why she never visited her. Maybe she didn't think she could handle it. But I had closure in the end, and she's in a mausoleum. And now my ex-mother-in-law, she died of cancer. She had brain cancer, and she died about 3 years ago now. And she's in the mausoleum too, right next to Lisa. And it's a tragic story because her daughter Shelby had 3 kids, and the man she had one of her youngest kids with, Shelby and that man were on drugs really bad, and he killed her youngest daughter. The second youngest. She was only 3 years old. True story. Shelby's doing time. She's doing like 12 years. So her mother must be rolling in her grave. So yeah, for me, I couldn't. I feel really bad for Lisa and for Lisa's family because of what's happened with Shelby. I never thought that would happen with her. But my story ends with Lisa, and it was a beautiful moment when I finally felt that peace and that release. And she helped me through my pregnancy, because I didn't have a lot of support from my husband. So that was my ex-husband, not Paul. So that's my story. I don't know if you believe in angels. I don't know if I believe in angels, but I believe in, spirits and ghosts and things like that. And she was there, and she knew that I was having a girl. And I didn't know until she was born, because I didn't want to know the sex of my baby. So Kenna's middle name is Marie, so it's Kenna Lee Marie. Marie is Lisa's middle name. So that's my paranormal experience. If you want to join in, just put hashtag Spooky Sunday. And if you don't, that's fine too. If you want to read along, do searches in the hashtags for hashtag Spooky Sunday, and you can find other people that have done something today. Some people are doing stories, and some people are sharing experiences. So there you go. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.